and I'm too slow and small. And no one's cheering for me. And I win. Yeah, that was my Sports Center highlight.
You've heard us talk about the salary cap and how it affects who you can keep and how you can keep. It's kind of hard to explain. So we brought the guy with the ears. He's all ears. Ross Perot, explain it, please, for us.
Ross here with some financial advice about the new game in town, pro football in the 90s, a.k.a. life under the cap. Here's how to avoid breaking your bank. Your most valuable asset is no longer a rich owner or a great coach. Heck, it's not even the star quarterback, running back, linebacker, or tackle. Friends, the most important honcho in this hierarchy is a capologist. That's right. Someone who can cut up a pie 7 ways to Sunday, make $1, spend like 10. Sign his, sign yours. Feeds the rich and the poor, and bottom line, gives his coach a chance to win games. Folks, it's not how much you spend, but how you spend it. So I've started a 24-hour hotline to get you started. 1-900-CAP-HELP. Drop a dime and save a buck.
Gotten our mileage out of him, haven't we, Joe?
Guys, we love him. We do him on the games on Sunday.
Now, this number we put up before the Niners traded Bill Romanowski to the Eagles today, and a salary of over $1.1 million. Because the 49ers have signed less than 51 players, they were only $102,000 under. And these teams get these sheets every day. At 4 o'clock Eastern time every day, you've got to be under the cap of $34.6 million. Up to 51 players until week 1 of the season in September. If you have 51 players signed and you're under the cap, you can draft anyone you want. If you're not, you need the minimum salary, $108,000, to draft players up to 51. You see the Niners are 12 shy of 51 players and only 102,000 shy of the cap. But that's why Bill Romanowski, among other reasons, was traded today. So now they have enough room to make just about all their picks, and they can deal with that tomorrow. They've made it 4 o'clock today. They got to 4 o'clock tomorrow to figure it out. That being said, the 49ers have moved down several times here. They moved up and they moved down, Mel. Who might they be looking at this point?
Well, there's some good players. I think Thomas Randolph is still a guy at this stage of the game that would make sense. A Trey Johnson, a guard tackle out of Temple, is another kid that you have to like. David Palmer, we talked about his versatility. Winfred Tubbs from Texas. Look at the draft board. Thomas Randolph, 16th overall. Here we are sitting at 28. LaShawn Johnson, who was right behind Marshall Faulk, is the #2 game breaker. The versatile William Floyd, who would be a great pick for Washington in the early 2nd round. Darnay Scott, big league receiver. Mario Bates, a very underrated junior running back who I thought maybe could have been consideration for the Raiders. David Palmer will be a great choice because of his versatility. Malum's a guy who can play center guard and tackle. Outstanding swingman, and a guy that will be a valuable addition like a John Giesick was to the Dallas Cowboys, and now Giesick signing on as a free agent with the Washington Redskins. Malum will bring that type of ability to an offensive line.
Yeah, I think they like Malum, and they know him very well as he plays at Berkeley. Let's go and look at the cornerback depth chart for the 49ers. Remember, they lost Don Griffin just this week, the free agent to the Cleveland Browns. So Eric Davis, who starts at one corner. Then you have Michael Magruder and Adrian Hardy, at least back from last year's situation. I mean, they still... Burton Hanks, remember, they used it at the safety spot, but if they had to shift things around and Hall came on, they could move Hanks over to corner. But yet still, Joe, that is obviously an area of need for the Niners.
Well, Boomer, I really think that the San Francisco 49ers have to be taking a look at what is happening in Dallas. Everybody exiting Dallas, some of the problems that they think might occur there. And you look at the teams that have been in the NFC Championship the last 2 years. It's been San Francisco and Dallas. San Francisco has to realize that if they're going to take it into the Super Bowl, they've got to get some help on the defensive side of the ball. They've made that move in one regard. I think this is an opportunity to help out the secondary and really put them in a good, solid foundation for making the run at it this year. San Francisco's got to be the odds-on favorite, I think, in the NFC now to go to the Super Bowl. I think a corner really helps them out a lot.
Well, they got to this spot. This is Dallas's slot 28. They moved down 5 and traded with the Cowboys. Cowboys move up to get Shante Carver. Let's go now to Dallas and join our Chris Myers with Coach Barry Switzer. Chris?
All right, thanks very much. From bootlegger's boy to coach of the Cowboys. Now, you said you've watched the draft for years on television. What was your first impression sitting in the Cowboy war room today?
Well, since you've had that shot of me yawning in there, Chris, it was kind of boring for me, certainly for the first 2 hours, 2.5 hours. I've enjoyed it. I've learned a lot today. I understand why you have 15 minutes between the selections, because there is a lot of negotiating, a lot of phone calls, up and down trades. It is a lot of maneuvering that Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones spent a lot of time with. I learned a lot today in the draft room, and it'll be a good experience in the future for me.
Your role up to that point was really evaluating some players. You looked at tape, you talked to some guys who were flown in.
I knew our needs, and I spent 9 days going over nearly 400 football players, and our needs were defensive ends, so I looked at all the top defensive ends and read all the reports. I felt like I could help maybe in evaluating that talent area. So I'm happy we got Shante Carver. I liked him. He played faster than his times. He is a player that has played that position and got good playing technique at that position. He can get bigger, he can get stronger, and I think he'll be an impact player for us.
And Capsule Forma, you said, hey, this is a heck of a lot easier than recruiting.
Well, it certainly is, and I like it. We're going to get someone anyway. We're going to sit there and pick the 28th slot. You'd like to do that next year. I'd like to pick the 30th next year, but you know that you have an opportunity to trade up and down in the draft, and we were going to trade Alvin Harper for one guy, and that was Willie McGinnis, and no one else.
All right, very good luck. Good work in the draft room. We'll talk to you later through the draft. Right now, let's go back to New York.
All right, Chris and Coach Switzer, here's the Niners selection.
San Francisco selects William Floyd, running back, Florida State. That's
Now
with the
you
pick
know.
that they obtained in a trade with Dallas.
Well, this is very, very interesting. Let's read between the lines on this one. William Floyd, the Niners told me, or some of the folks that scout for him and have gone out and seen the players, is the best blocking fullback, quote, they have ever seen. That he reminds them of a young Rathman, a young Moose Johnston. Now remember, Tom Rathman unsigned, so this gives you a hint. Mark Logan filled in very well when Rathman was hurt last year, so they have Logan to start out. But he blocks, he catches. Let's go to Fred Edelstein at San Francisco for their pick for William Floyd. Freddie, it might be a surprise to some, but they just really love this kid.
Well, it's a surprise only, Chris, in that it was an offensive player. In talking to the 49ers people yesterday, you're right, they just loved this guy. They thought he was absolutely perfect for them. The problem with William Floyd was that he was an offensive player, and they came into this draft believing defense, defense, defense. When Dwayne Washington went to Minnesota earlier in the first round, they knew that they were in a trade down mode. And the reason that this thing took so long was they were on the phones for the last 10, 15 minutes trying to trade down again if they got the right offer because they were so hesitant to take an offensive player. In the end, the fact that they liked William Floyd so much and the fact that they didn't get what they want on the trade kind of caused them to make this move. Yeah, it's a little bit of a surprise, but as you know, Chris, if you know the 49ers, this is somebody that they had a lot of stock in that they liked very, very much.
And Freddie, as you know, the 49ers, this is somebody that can really, again, put that pressure on, both in blocking and certainly in receiving. Mel, as far as the fullbacks go, he's head and shoulders above everyone in this group, and he's a rare find, is he not?
He is. He's the 11th junior to go so far, so nearly half the first-round juniors. You're talking about a guy, William Floyd, that felt he was underutilized in Florida State's offense. When they went to that fast break, no-huddle shotgun attack, kind of phased him out a little bit. Charlie Ward became the focal point. You see off the pass fake, William Floyd taking on defenders in the secondary. This is against Nebraska. And that running skill level for a 235-pounder is remarkable. There's a lead blocker for Sean Jackson. He does a job. You see his vision here. Gets outside, turns the corner, then the power. Breaks the arm tackle of the defensive back, picks up an extra 5 or 10 yards. Here he is catching the football for a touchdown early in the year. This is a guy who is the consummate pure fullback. I compared him in the report to a Rathman and a Darryl Johnston, but with better running skills. And certainly for the 49ers, they know how to utilize a fullback.
Well, they, like we say, Pittsburgh likes Colorado. Dexter Carter, Amp Lee, William Floyd, Florida State to the 49ers. Coach Mike Gottfried, he's someone that opens up your eyes in several ways, isn't he?
Chris, I really liked him last year, and I thought he was the most valuable player on that Florida State team when he's on the field offensively. But the system really didn't fit him. If he played for Michigan or Nebraska, he would have racked up a lot of bigger numbers. But he was in an offense which went to the shotgun a lot, so a lot of times he was on the bench. But when he was on the field, he made things happen. They're right about him. He can block, he can catch the football, and he can run. He is an outstanding back.
So William Floyd selected by the 49ers. Philadelphia with the 29th compensatory pick and last pick of the first round. We'll be back.
What do you do when Four Wheeler Magazine crowns you Pickup Truck of the Year? You leap up in the air. You take a bow. And you give the runners-up a big wet one on the cheek. Chevy S-Series, Four-Wheeler Pickup Truck of the Year. Further proof that everything else is history.
It's nice to know that one phone call to a Farmers Insurance agent can cover home, auto, and life. So come in for a farmers-friendly review and make sure your insurance needs are covered, because you never know what could happen next.
Dad!
Farmers Insurance Group, for home, auto, there you go, and life.
You still washing the car with dish soap? Hey, try Spot and Wash. It takes off bugs and tar, and it even washes the whole car. Yeah, I wouldn't mind riding in that. New Spot and Wash from Armor All.
Open the door, son. Mr. Gooden?
That's right.
Any relation to Dwight Gooden?
No.
Okay. Do you have time for a couple of questions?
Short ones.
Tell us about your HP LaserJet printer.
My LaserJet?
Yeah, what do you think about it?
I don't.
Ever?
LaserJets work. What's there to think about?
But if you did?
I don't.
But if you did?
Well, if I had to think about it, I probably wouldn't have one.
But you do have one.
No, I have two.
Oh.
Is that enough?
Works for me. HP LaserJet printers. You do your job, we'll do ours.
Good idea.
It could happen at any time. That craving for a Wendy's bacon mushroom melt. A quarter pound of fresh beef, 3 strips of bacon, and mushrooms in a cheddar cheese sauce.
When you gotta have one, you gotta have one.
These guys gotta start brushing their teeth.
Martinez dinner coming up here at the top of the hour. Pedro Martinez and the Montreal Expos against his old team, the Los Angeles Dodgers. And that you will see with John and Joe from Chavez Ravine after our draft coverage ends here at ESPN. But we move over to ESPN2 to bring you the entire second round. A second round which we might add A, only 10 minutes between every pick. B, there are 8 additional picks from the 28, so there's 36, so could be midnight at the Oasis on the Deuce. Right now, the Philadelphia Eagles have the 29th pick. It's a pick that is a compensatory pick for the plaintiff losing Reggie White. And so this is a first-round pick, the second for the Philadelphia Eagles. Their first went to Bernard Williams, the tackle of Georgia. And so he's been in Philadelphia all day and all evening. Malone again, naturally. Any clues, Mark, for the Eagles?
Well, Boomer, you know, we just checked into the war room out here in Philadelphia, and everybody's on the line, no word. It makes you wonder whether or not they're interested again in Dolman for that 29th pick. They said they were out of the loop. Now, they certainly like Jeff Burris. He's gone. You wonder whether or not Jason Sehorn is a guy that can fill their needs at safety, a place where they really need help. And as again, as I said earlier, they need to have a guy that can run the football for them, a breakaway guy. You've got Rex still, you got Garner, and you got Mario Bates out of Arizona State University. All three are the type of runners that Philadelphia would like to have in their backfield.
Well, a couple of them, Mark, are different type runners. Garner really the slot kind, the smaller player. Do you have an inkling as to who they prefer, the group that you just mentioned?
Well, again, yesterday when I talked to both John Wooten, head of player personnel, and Richie Kotite, they like Garner a great deal. They also thought Bates could do that. They want a guy that's in about the 200 to 210-pound range, that's durable, but can make people miss. They kept trying to attach these guys' name with a guy like Emmitt Smith. Now, we don't know if this is an Emmitt Smith type of running back, any of these three, but they feel they need to have that guy. Herschel Walker's been very productive, but they still don't believe they have a guy